Hello, everyone. Welcome along. You're not seeing things. This is a Saturday evening. This is a special edition of Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, number one tennis betting podcast and YouTube show brought to you in association with Bet Rivers. The reason why we're coming to you on Saturday night is because Sean Calvert, our senior ATP Tour handicapper, it's his final day over in Indian Wells. He's heading back to the UK, and that's where he joins me from now. Good afternoon to you, Sean. Good morning for where you are.
Good morning. Yeah, just after 9:30 here, local time. Yeah, all good. Apart from the internet.
You're good, mate. How was your... Oh, well, I've had loads of problems with the internet. I mean, just I'm going to have to sort of sort that out. I have to pay the bill. I think that's the problem, Sean.
Yeah,
I think that's what we've got to do. That usually helps. How have been things? How's it been? How's the trip been out there? How's it been going for you?
Well, the results have been a bit wild. It often is in Indian Wells. You know, there's some, even now looking at the results of the first round, there's a few head scratches in there. It's always difficult, particularly first round Indian Wells. You know, players are coming from South America. Some are coming from not really having played. Some are coming from Acapulco. Quite a lot of them were sick over there. Some of them don't tell you about it until afterwards, like Arnaldi. Yeah, it's been a bit of a wild ride so far, to be honest. And yeah, there's the weather conditions as well. Awful lot of injuries again. Changing conditions. If anything, you know, people were initially thinking, oh, it's a lake hold, it's quicker. Certainly not the case. If anything, I think it's actually slower. Certainly at night. I mean, the night matches are painful, really. It's been a wild ride, but that's Indian Wells. It is generally a wild ride.
Been a shock. So, I mean, we had Alexander Zverev losing. Tallon Griekspoor.
Well, we did say
Griekspoor
that
a
one,
little
didn't
bit.
we?
Yeah, we said Griekspoor might have a chance. We also looked that Casper Ruud got beaten. The top half of the draw's wide open now, blown open completely.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said in the initial show that we did, the preview. I said Zverev, you know, doesn't play well here, come in here out of form, difficult first match, whoever it would be. Casper Ruud, I also said, doesn't enjoy the conditions here. I'm not sure Casper was putting the effort in. I think he was playing golf. He just comes here to a round of golf, you know, try and get a couple of matches under his belt and then move on. So, you know, I did highlight those two as potential fades. That's obviously why I highlighted Mpetshi and Tommy Paul in that section. So as far as that's concerned, that's gone all right so far.
There is a whole load of matches today available on the Bet Rivers website. Head across there if you want to have a look at the matches. Sean, I think we'll give you something on the Instagram account before he heads off. At Because We Win on Instagram. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well for this channel. As I keep saying on this show, we're approaching almost 1 million views on the channel and almost 8,000 subscribers. And we want to get that milestone over and done with so we can move on to the next million and the next 8,000 subscribers. These matches we're going to talk about are all on Sunday. And the first match we're going to discuss is that match where Tallon Griekspoor, the guy who just beat the number one seed, Alexander Zverev, he's up against Giovanni and Mpetshi Perricard. You would have thought in slow conditions, this probably wouldn't suit either of these players. They'd both like it to be quicker rather than slower. Griekspoor is a favourite here at minus 155 against the Frenchman plus 123. Spread 1.5 and the total a monster 25.5. And the overs have been cashing throughout the week. They've never met before, so it's the first time they've met. And since the line has gone up with Bet Rivers, the early money has come for Griekspoor. He's now moved down from an issue. I think he was originally minus 136. He's now minus 155.
Yeah, maybe they're thinking he's fit after this ankle problem that he's had. I don't think I'd be interested in the money line here. I mean, if ever a match looked like an absolute certainty for tie breaks, it's this one. I mean, just looking at the lines, over 10.5 in set one is odds on. And you can see why. You know, last 12 months on outdoor hard at main level, Griekspoor. Just looking at the money line, actually, 57% win rate and a service points won and return points would total of 98. And Mpetshi Perricard, 44% win rate and a total of 95. Just talking about Mpetshi, actually, we had another bet voided by injury, didn't we, yesterday? And Mpetshi Perricard and Marijan turned up. He looked. I watched that match on the screen here on the stream, and he looked like he was. I don't know. Initially, I thought he'd got a bit of a hangover or something. Marijan. He was just kind of bumbling around, not really interested. And then it transpired why. He was obviously very kind of upset with the fact that he had a busted up ankle or whatever, and wasn't able to continue. So, but he did continue. And donated his serve at the end of the first set. I mean, he literally couldn't move, so that was another injury-affected one. But I wouldn't read too much into that. I watched the first set. I mean, as I said, he couldn't move really, Marijan. The interesting thing here is return points won. As I've said many times, Mpetshi Perricard, his total's gone up slightly because of that one break of serve that Marijan donated to him yesterday. Return points won 25.9% on hard courts at main level the last 12 months. Griekspoor also very poor, 31.8%. And these guys, they're the very epitome of huge serving, poor returners. And Mpetshi is desperately bad, whereas Griekspoor is just bad. First serve points won 74.2% Griekspoor, 79.3%, and Mpetshi very, very high. Now I looked at what both of these guys have done against players that I have listed as big servers in my database. And it gets worse, as you can imagine. Griekspoor wins 25.5% of return points against those guys and plays 0.42 tie breaks per set, almost one tie break every 2 sets. And Mpetshi Perricard, almost the same, 25.2% return points won, and he plays 0.67 tie breaks per set. As I said, the set one overs is odds on, but I was quite surprised that over 1.5 tie breaks is plus 260 with Bet Rivers. 2 tie breaks in this match. I know the conditions are very slow. Yes, that is very true, but I think even on clay, I'd be tempted to back a couple of tie breaks with these two, bearing in mind how poor they return. Over 1.5 tie breaks plus 260. I think that's the way to approach this one for sure.
Yeah, very big price when you consider that the totals are 25.5. And if you're looking at a straight six match, you've got to have 2 tie breaks to cash on the over at minus 121. So that does sound like a little bit of logic there. I mean, very low games. If you look at the over 10.5, as Sean said, it's minus money with Bet Rivers. And whether you go across to the Bet Rivers website or the app, you can download the app and have a wager on this match. And if you do have a wager on this match, you'll be able to watch it. You'll be watching it for a long time, I think. I don't think if you're going to if you block out 2.5 hours of your time on Sunday, you may be able to do it here, because this is going to be a long match. And over 1.5 tie breaks, 2 tie breaks with cash at plus 260 is a decent price when you consider the 25.5 is minus 121.
The other thing to think about, actually, sorry, just very, very briefly.
No problem.
The other thing to think about is fitness. And Mpetshi Perricard's barely played for, quite some considerable time. He's only played like 3 or 4 matches this season. He only played 1 set yesterday, which was pretty quick. Griekspoor's played a ton of tennis as well, so I don't think I'd be going for Griekspoor on the money line with that ankle issue as well. Sorry, that's just a side point.
Yeah, side point there. Looking at the games is definitely the way to go. There probably will be about 28 different markets with Bet Rivers available on this match, so you can make your own opinion here. But looking at the long matches, looking at the duration of the match can be long. Tie breaks, overs, that's the way that is going there. Griekspoor against Mpetshi Perricard. Our second match is my old mate, Holger Rune. He's up against Hugo Humbert. I was pals with Rublev. He was my buddy, but now Holger Rune is my new best mate. Minus 134 for Hugo Humbert, plus 108 for Holger Rune. Spread is 1.5. Total here, a little bit lower. Still on the high side, 23.5 with over minus 109 and under minus 117. If you look at the head-to-head record here, you'll be rushing to Bet Rivers to bet the Holger Rune, because he leads 4-0 in the head-to-head record. That does include the Ultimate Tennis Showdown. Well, how could we forget that last year? But in regular matches, Indian Wells 2022.
Which one? There's about 10 of them.
Yeah, I know. It's the ultimate one. The ultimate
one. Okay.
The ultimate. But Holger Rune's never lost a set against Hugo Humbert, but yet he's the underdog here. He's had a big win by his setup. It wasn't a big win in terms of the opponent in Mute, but for the way that Holger Rune's playing, that's a confidence-boosting win to get that win under his belt, and he is the underdog here against the man who has an overwhelming head-to-head record against.
Yeah, I mean, in these conditions, you would fancy Holger Rune anyway, even without looking at the head-to-head. It's slow, it's clay-like. I mean, some of the numbers that are coming out of this tournament, I think the CPI, somebody said, was 29.3 on centre court, which is basically clay. It was 30, I think it was about 36 last year, which I think is probably a little bit too high, but yeah, 29.3. Very, very, very slow indeed. And you wouldn't have thought that would be suitable for Hugo Humbert. If you look at the Indian Wells records, Holger Rune made the quarterfinals here last year, 56% win rate of this tournament, service points won and return points won, a total of 102. Humbert, 50% win rate and a total of 97. Humbert only holds serve here 73% of the time. And you compare that to his 1-year average on outdoor hard at main level of 86%. You can see how the conditions are a problem for him. We know he's poor on clay. We know he likes quicker, slicker, lower bouncing surfaces, grass, indoor hard. That's where he excels. These kind of conditions, no, not for me. I mean, the head-to-head is a little bit old, to be fair. I don't think they've played since, let's just have a quick look. They've not played since the start of 2023, so it is a little bit old, but it's hard to ignore it completely because it's so overwhelming in favour of Holger Rune. 116-84 in terms of service points won and return points won totals. And they've played 2 of the 3 matches they've played in decent pace conditions, indoors in Basel, where Humbert, I think he's either won that or made the final. He certainly played well there, Humbert. Australian Open, hardly slow, but they did play here in Indian Wells, and Rune won that as a qualifier that year, actually 6-3, 6-2. So just going further into that head-to-head, Rune's actually held serve 97% of the time against Humbert. Humbert winning only 26% of return points, so he's had no read whatsoever on the Holger Rune serve. Going slightly further, Rune anyway has a really, really strong record against left-handers. He's won 14 of his last 15 main-level matches against left-handers since the start of October 2022. And in those matches, he's compiled a service points won and return points won total of 109, and he's held serve 90% of the time, and that's on all surfaces. He's just played a left-hander in Corentin Moutet. I know they're very different French left-handers, Moutet and Humbert. They couldn't be much more different, but they're still lefties. The patterns are kind of similar. So there's a lot to like about Holger Rune here, particularly at plus money. I was surprised. I thought they'd make Rune slight favourite for this. So plus 108, yeah, I'll take that. Official pick.
Plus 108, Holger Rune. Who would have thought it? Holger Rune, an official pick on the show, given the form he's shown over the last couple of times. But the price is right. The price is right. And the conditions are right. Are the conditions all right for Alexei Popyrin? I'm not so sure. He's up against Marcus Giron here. Marcus Giron is minus 136. Popyrin is plus 110. Spread again, 1.5. Total here, 23.5. 1-1 in the head-to-head records. The last time they met was in Adelaide in 2023. Popyrin won 2-1. In Montreal in 2022, it was Giron who won 2-1. Both matches went the distance into a third and final set. But on the record this year, on the hardcourt record, it's Giron has got is definitely the better player. 9-4 in 2025. Popyrin is just 2-4. He's having a bit of a run of form, not that great. But the conditions are a leveler here. How do you see this one going?
Well, this was a pick 'em a minute ago when I looked. Minus 136 is he now, Giron?
Giron being bet.
Not surprised. I was going to side with, well, I am going to side with Giron here. It's a home tournament for him. Yeah, he showed his passion and desire at this tournament in the last round against Casper Ruud. I just feel like he's going to want this more than Popyrin. He's talked at great length, actually, Giron, about how much he loves this tournament and how it's kind of counted against him in previous years, where he's put a lot of pressure on himself because he's talking about how he gets all the tickets for his friends and family, and they're all coming here to watch him and all this sort of stuff. And this is one of the only places they can see him play. And he said he suffered with that in years gone by due to that pressure. So now he says he's a bit more relaxed. He's played really well. He played really well to beat Basilashvili. Basilashvili was hitting, as he does, hitting big. Just made a couple of untimely errors at the wrong time, Basilashvili there. But that was a close and tight match. Then he's really scrapped it out against Casper Ruud. Not convinced about Popyrin here. He's very rarely has he played well here. I'm not convinced about how well that first round result over Bergs, the value of it, because Bergs was sick, had the doctor out, didn't have any energy, talked about it afterwards. He wasn't well at all. So not convinced about the value of that win. If you look at the head-to-head, it also favours Giron, 104-96 in terms of the service points won and return points won totals across those two meetings on hard courts. A very serve-dominated series, as you would probably expect. Giron's held serve 93% of the time, Popyrin 86% of the time, and return points won, again, a low. Giron 30.6, Popyrin just 26.5. Again, Indian Wells records, Giron slightly better, 55% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 98. Popyrin 50% and 96. Again, Popyrin, just that same comparison that I did with Hugo Humbert. He's only held serve 74% of the time at this tournament versus his 1 year average on all outdoor hard at main level of 85%. Excuse me. So I was going to take Giron, I think, as well. I was going to take Giron at 1.9, but yeah, minus 136. Maybe the value's gone a little bit there.
Yeah, I still think he's going to go even further south. Marcus Giron here, he's minus 136 currently. I think that price even might go even down further. But just looking at the market movements in front of me now, so if you want to take Giron and you want to get with him, the fact that he's this is his big tournament for him, the minus 136 might not last. Now, our final match is a real interesting one. It's Stefanos Tsitsipas against Matteo Berrettini. You would think that the court conditions will definitely suit the Greeks. Tsitsipas here is a favourite, minus 150 with Bet Rivers. Berrettini is plus 120. Spread is 1.5 and total 23.5. This seems to be the common prices today. 1.5 the spread, total 23.5. I looked at the head-to-head record between these two, Sean. 7-2 Tsitsipas leads. Again, it includes 2 ultimate tennis showdowns. But in all the regular matches they've played, every single match has been a tiebreak. And there's been games where every set has been a tiebreak. We've had a 7-6, 7-6. We've had a 6-7, 7-6, 7-6. So tiebreaks are definitely on the menu here. It's a tournament with overs. 23.5 is the total here at minus 109. I know you tell me about these matches you want to speak about, but you don't tell me the bet you want to, or the wager you want to have. I can't see you betting Berrettini at plus 120 in these conditions. I can't see you making a case for the informed Tsitsipas at minus 150. So I think you're going on a tiebreak angle here.
No, but it's a good idea.
Okay.
It's a good idea because I know it's slow conditions. We don't know the timing of this match yet, which is a little bit annoying. If this is a day match, then I would certainly be in the Berrettini camp. Even in these conditions, he should have won that meeting in Dubai that they played a week or so ago. Statistically, absolutely miles ahead. He led the service points won and return points won totals by 107 to 93. Berrettini. He won 79% of his service points overall. He won 79% on first serve and 78 point something on second serve. So Tsitsipas did absolutely nothing. I think he won 20% of return points. It's nowhere. Berrettini's already beaten Tsitsipas on clay, in the meeting before last. Admittedly, it was at altitude in Gstaad, but it's still clay. And if you look at the head-to-head of the last 3 meetings, it's overwhelming in favour of Berrettini in terms of the service points won and return points won totals, despite the fact that he's only won one of them. 109 to 92 in favour of Berrettini. Tsitsipas winning just 21% of return points and creating 0.14 breakpoint chances per Berrettini service game. So he's barely got a racket on any of these serves. 2 of them on hard courts, 1 of them on clay. Obviously, it is slow here, but Berrettini can still smash that serve down, and importantly, it bounces high here as well. The kick serve really gets up high, and if you're kicking a serve up high to the Tsitsipas backhand, he's not doing anything with that. He's got no clue how to return those. Not many people have, by the way, but he's certainly struggled with that massively. The Indian Wells records, as I said before, Tsitsipas doesn't have a particularly good record here. He's got a slender lead in the service points won and return points won totals at this tournament. 102 for him, 101 for Berrettini. Berrettini still holds serve 85% of the time at this tournament, winning 74% of his first serve points. And Berrettini was a minus 164 favourite to win that match in Dubai. Now the prices are almost the other way around, aren't they? I think if you're betting in this one, Berrettini, again, on the handicap, bearing in mind that he's not winning some of these matches, but he's dominating the stats. Plus 1.5 would have won very, very, very easily in that match against that match in Dubai a week or so ago. So I think if you're betting in this one, that small spread plus 1.5 on Berrettini, that's the way to go there, I think.
Yep, Berrettini plus 1.5. I like the tiebreak in the match. I mean, every single match between the two of them has gone to a tiebreak. The last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches that they've played, right, without this ultimate tennis challenge of regular matches, and every single first set has been a tiebreak.
You can see why on the stats. Tsitsipas has got not much of the faintest idea. I mean, the other factor, obviously, is which is kind of an intangible, is sort of confidence. Tsitsipas is obviously, he's not a guy short on confidence anyway, Tsitsipas. Even when he's not playing well, he still thinks he's great. But now, he's won that tournament in Dubai, as I said, fortunate to beat Berrettini, but it doesn't matter. He's won it. Come out, carried that confidence through against Seyboth Wild. You might see him have a deep run here, Tsitsipas. I don't know, but to beat Berrettini, he's going to have to do something which he's going to have to do one or two things. He's either going to have to win tie breaks, or he's going to have to do something on return that he's never been able to do before against Berrettini. He might be able to get it done, but minus 150, not for me.
Just looking at the BetRivers website, a tie break in set number 1 is plus 230. A tie break in the match is minus 136. 11 tie breaks in 7 matches between the two. And as I say, every first set has gone to a tie break, plus 230.
I think we have to be looking at the match timing for this. I mean, if it is a night match, that would kind of alter the thinking, really, wouldn't it? Because the conditions here, I don't know whether we've talked that much about it. It's so cold at night here. If you can probably see from watching it last night, Medvedev and Tiafoe, they're both wearing leggings. In the Mahak match that he eventually retired in, he was wearing a coat during the changeovers. He was sat down with a puffer jacket on during changeovers. The weather here changes so quickly from 26, 27 degrees and glorious sunshine to really cold. If it's a night match, that for me would kind of edge it towards Tsitsipas. He is, he's changed his racket. He's done what I kind of said he hadn't been doing, which is make a change. He's made a positive change. It's worked out for him. The confidence is there, but I still wouldn't back him minus 150.
Yep, head across to the BetRivers website. Remember, the order of play is so crucial. The order of play is not out yet, but what we do know is the action starts at 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow on Sunday. Have a look at the order of play, and when the order of play does come out, and as the night goes on, there will be so many more different markets available on the app and the website. Lots of different content coming your way here on the Betting Weekly Studios. We have myself and Sean will be back next week, looking ahead to the second week of Indian Wells. He's travelling back tonight. Obviously, the football as well, with the Champions League in midweek on Betting Weekly Live every day, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 p.m. UK. Actually, it's 5 p.m. UK because the clocks go back in America. So be careful with Sean tonight. Your clocks.
When's this, sorry?
America, the clocks change tonight. They go forward, don't they? Tonight. So.
Do they?
Yep. So I don't know. Make sure you get your right flight here. You could be an hour late for the airplane.
I'll check it out.
That's it for the week here. If you want to follow Sean's action before he leaves, make sure you subscribe to, follow us on our Instagram at Because We Win. Lots of content there. It wasn't cold in the bar that Sean was in having a Magnus. I noticed that last night. But anyway.
I've not had a Magnus. That's
what was it?
sure.
What was that you had? Was it a nice glass of beer? Was it a lager or a...
What, the other day? It wasn't last night, the night before.
Oh,
that was a Modelo Especial. That was.
Oh.
Nice little drop.
It's all fizzy. It's all gassy. Oh dear.
I don't mind it. It's quite nice.
I have to go to the toilet about 10 times when I have one of them. They're too fizzy for me.
What, a Modelo?
Anyway, all of them. Yeah, I think the American beers are really fizzy. They're like so gassy. They keep going to the toilet. Anyway, that's also being 52 years of age as well, having to go to the toilet 20 times when you have a pint. That's nothing to do with it. Anyway, that's been it for this week. I'm going to talk about my toilet habits on this show. No. It's all about tennis betting. Before we go, Sean, give us your official plays for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think if the outstanding value for me personally is Holger Rune to beat Hugo Humbert plus 108. I think he is with BetRivers.
Yep. Plus 108 is the price for Holger Rune. He's coming back. I told you when I spoke to him in Rotterdam, he's going to have a big week. He could go a week all the way this week. It's an open draw in that top half of the draw. Indian Wells is very, very open. And our pick on Massetti, 125 to 150 to 1.
150 to 1, yeah.
He's not 150 to 1 now, is he? He's looking quite good in that top half of the draw. It's opening him up. That's it for this week. Sean, have a very, very safe journey home. And I know you've got a long journey ahead of you, 20 odd hours.
It takes at least 20 hours to get home. It'll be Monday morning before I get home, I think.
Oh, dear. Anyway, that's it for this week. Safe travels. And we'll speak to you all again when Sean returns back here in the UK. Weather's good here. I have to wrap up. It's not nice and
always
sunny.
Is when I go away.
Lovely. Take care.